Get your rub on with a...
Hello, world. We are here with HessHogs4 and Josh Hess. Can everybody hear me all right?
Hear you just fine on our
Yep.
end.
All right, good deal.
Hey, Maurice, everyone can hear? Okay, good.
All right, this podcast is sponsored by King Louis Meat Apostle. So if you want some new rubs, check him out. How you doing tonight?
We're doing good. How you guys doing?
Not bad at all. So
Doing good.
we'll go ahead and get started. Introduce yourself and tell us your team name.
Yeah, well, I'm Josh Hess, and we are HessHogs4. And I wanted the crew to be here for the just introductory part of the video because they're what makes our team so special. So I'm just going to run the screen real quick. I want to start over here with who are you girls? Don't tell me, tell them. Who are you? Yeah, they're twins. Yeah, but Reese, what hog number are you?
4.
She's hog number 4. What about you? Who are you?
I'm number 3.
So Ava's number 3. That's my boss back there waving. Yeah, that's Mama Hog.
The one that signs the permission slips, right?
No permission slip. And she threw away my stamp I had.
Oh.
That's over here. And then who are you?
Bailey.
So that's Bailey. What hog are you?
2.
2, because she is their second born. And then what are you?
Emma.
Yeah, Emma, my oldest, hog number 1. And yeah, so we are HessHogs4.
You really do have a sorority.
It's so awesome.
So which one was going to compete in the Royal last year but got to not feeling good?
That was Emma. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
She's the one cooking steak this year?
Yeah, she cooks it. She cooks a heck of a lot better than I do. And, Marty Plute spent quite a bit of time with her teaching her the ways of steak. So hopefully we can represent him and Hess Hogs well at the upcoming competition there in Kansas City.
Well, that answers the question of where did the name come from. Where did the hogs part come from? You just wanted to cook?
I think who was it? It wasn't my idea. I'd be a liar if I said it was, but it just stuck. It was like Hess Hogs, and that was like, 1, 2, 3, carry the 2, 4 kids. So we just ran with it, and it stuck. So we're just keeping it. But no,
that's pretty creative. I just didn't know if girls would be okay with being called hogs. That's why I was a little confused about it.
There's so many other names, so we thought hogs was pretty appropriate.
That's pretty good.
So
what got you into barbecue competitions?
Well, I'm gonna excuse the girls if I could. Girls, say bye to everybody. Bye. It's school night, so they got to go do their thing. Bye, girls. Thank you. So in my world, or our world of barbecue competitions, we just took a chance. We were at an unsanctioned event in Bourbon, Missouri in June of 2021. And we went and we enjoyed it and had some fun and got lucky and heard our name called and just pursued the sport ever since.
Are you from Bourbon area?
No, we lived in Cuba for a period of time, about 4 years. But, with the way events are, that's such a close competition. And the person who hosted the event was a personal friend of ours, and it just was something that we wanted to just see how we would do.
No, the only reason I ask is I used to live in Rolla, so I went there a few times from Rolla to St. Louis. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, when we lived in Cuba, we had a lot of friends in Rolla, and it's a nice area.
Bourbon is a speed trap. I remember that.
That's since been resolved, guys.
So, I think you already answered this, but I'll ask it again. When was your first time competing?
That it was in Bourbon, in June of 21.
How did that contest go?
Did you do a lot before that, just backyard style, like at home practicing, or was it just something you loved to do?
So having the girls, it turns out I'm not good at like ballet or gymnastics. Like I can't do a somersault. So I've kind of used barbecue or cooking as a segue to spend time with the girls.
Mhm.
And we had made a YouTube channel because YouTube's so cool, right?
Yeah.
And the girls, they wanted to have their own YouTube channel. So I was like, oh no, I know how to fix this. It'll be a barbecue YouTube channel. So we really went down that route, and then we just kind of liked cooking, and then we really realized we liked cooking barbecue. So about a month before the competition, I signed up for the barbecue league, and just started learning how to cook competition style barbecue food, which we all know is different from what you do at home in the backyard or even catering.
Yep.
But yeah, we showed up and I had 2 char griller offsets. And that's what we cooked. It was ribs, chicken, and pork steaks. And yeah, that's how we started.
How'd you go? How'd that contest go? Did you get any calls?
We did. We got lucky, or we practiced and paid off. We GC'd it, and I think we took first in ribs and chicken and second in pork steak, if I remember.
That sets the hooks pretty good.
Well, it was good and it was bad because then I'm like, haha, I've arrived, our first comp. And luckily our next event was there in Collinsville. And I got, what was that? The reality check at Smoking on Main, where you go up against, a sanctioned event that is run at a very high level with a lot of just wonderful cooks that, have been doing it for multiple years that cook sanctioned, which is unsanctioned. So, yeah.
That definitely is that's the reality slap.
It was. One call. We had a call in chicken and didn't have a call in ribs. And, but you still have those days knowing what you're doing. So.
Mm-hmm.
So who is your barbecue mentor?
It's hard to say. Nick from Pits and Grills there in Springfield. He was the guy who really introduced the competition lens to me. He offered classes at his shop, and I took them. And I was like, wow. And I've partnered with him from time to time. Other than that, I can't really say I've got someone that, calls, checks on me or anything like that. There's so many good folks in barbecue. It'd be hard to say just one person.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So I think you had this a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to ask, if you could team up with anyone to cook a contest, who would it be?
Well, we had the opportunity to compete at the When Pigs Can Fly event there in Cape. And when we did our video and found out we were one of the, the teams that were selected, I recognized very quickly that it wasn't something I could do by myself. So fortunately, I've made a lot of friends along the way, and I had the opportunity to have Zach from Breaking Slabs. He came down. Alan came in from Minnesota, a wrecking crew. We had Wheeze from Wheezes, out of Chicago, and then Devin out of nowhere. And man, he's a sprinkle bay. I tell you what, that guy can put a finishing rub on some pork like no one's business. And we kind of all work together. And I would cook with any of those guys any day of the week. They're all great cooks. They're great men, first and foremost. So I guess that would be the team.
So how much beer was consumed over that weekend?
What's crazy? I'm going to tell you right now, it's crazy. And people don't believe me. Then they see me. They're like, okay. So I've been like on this diet. I know it's miserable. And I've not had any booze since November 16th.
Wow.
Like people showed up with Fireball and were offended because I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, here's my 8-year-old twin. She can have it. Let Reese have it. But no, I'm joking. I didn't do that. But Zach didn't. Wheeze didn't. We asked Alan if he wouldn't mind kind of taking care of that for all of us. And Alan, he's a team player. He's a good man.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
did. So thankfully, Alan was there to get us through that.
He's on my list to have coming up one of these times too, because he
Alan's a good guy.
Nothing he says is ever. I couldn't imagine living with him. Nothing he says is ever serious.
There's enough things that have to stress us out. We shouldn't make barbecue too stressful or too serious.
No,
Yeah.
I completely agree. So, what is your favorite contest that you've cooked?
I thought long and hard about that, and I think it's the ones that I win are generally my favorite. And there's only been a couple, so that's why I can say, the ones that I win. But honestly, smoking in Collinsville's competition, I really enjoy that. That's an SLBS with an SCA tie-in. The way Chris and Co3 run that event, it's so big, but you feel so connected. And I feel that way about a lot of, events that I do. But that's probably my favorite. The one that I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to all of them this year, to be honest. But I can't wait to go cook that event again this year.
How far is Collinsville outside of St. Louis?
I get there. It takes me an hour to get there.
And where you live? Where are you from?
I'm in O'Fallon, so St. Charles County.
So it's a little bit across the border then.
It's really not that bad. It's better than driving. Nothing wrong with Mississippi. I love going to Mississippi and competing. But I would much rather drive an hour to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You did do a lot of faraway contests this year.
And I've got a few lined up already this season that are a little bit further than last year even.
Didn't you do Pooza Q?
I did. That was that was an amazing event. Well organized, well put together. To have the amount of teams there and the way Christy is her name that really was overseeing it and putting it on through the casino. Every need you had was met. Everything. It was ice. They even had air conditioned bathrooms, which was pretty. Not gonna lie, but it was just such a well run, well organized. A lot of thought put into the cooks, and what's important to us. It's just a great event.
It's kind of hard to find with some contests here and there.
Well, it's challenging for some. Some of these folks, it's the first time doing it, second time doing it. But I think when an event coordinator or someone putting an event on has the support of the area, it makes a difference.
Oh yeah. So are you cooking the American Royal Backyard again this year?
We sure are. That'll be our, I guess, technically our second KCBS or our third KCBS Cook of the Year because we went to the Invitational or the Worlds. So that started the season for November, if you will. Then we're in Tennessee, and after Tennessee, we're in Kansas City.
Have you got your invitational bid for next year yet?
I have. Yeah, I lucked out at the event that Nick put on, Tahlequah. I landed on a lucky table and had a first place rib and GC'd it. And
I do remember that now that you say it. Yeah, that was close to my anniversary weekend, so I didn't want to mess with anywhere near that.
Yeah, some permission slips I don't ask for.
Yep, that's one I didn't even try to get signed.
You're wise.
I like barbecue, but not that much.
Mm-hmm.
No, we qualified in Ashland with first place chicken, so we're gonna try and cook it if we can. I've heard rumors where it's gonna be, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So, have you thought about cooking a Master Series contest this year?
No. I'm taking the opportunity to be a certified judge. I'm going to Cameron.
Good.
I forget the weekend, but I'm just going for that Saturday. I can't make that Sunday. And I want to have, there's some KCBS Master Series in the area where I'm at that I want to judge. And just so I can really improve my palate and just see, what is everyone else turning in at a high level.
It's kind of eye-opening sometimes. It is kind of weird to be on that side of it.
Yeah.
Granted, sometimes I don't know if that makes it better or worse because then you could see what you need to fix and trying to figure out how to fix it sometimes is the challenge.
Yeah.
But only one I've thought about doing is maybe the Open at the Invitational this year, possibly. Or I might see if I can get some backyard teams that want to team up and cook one, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and that helps as well. I would be very just saying it. Some of the backyard cooks that I did comps we did last year. It was 3 meats. It was pork. We had ribs. We had chicken. So what was missing? Okay, it was brisket. But still, to put that fourth protein in the equation, when in my world, my timeline's not built around that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to have help.
Yeah.
Have help from another team that understands timeline, understands the presentation, just has that experience. I think would make it a little less. I don't want to say stressful, but less intimidating for me.
Yeah.
I know Weeze and I, we've discussed some things, not for this year, but actually for next year already. But, we'll see how that works out.
So, how did last season turn out for you?
I had a blast. If you were to look at the numerics, sure. Do I want to be top 1, top 5, top 10? Absolutely. What I learned last season, I thought was a great deal more just about what backyard, what KCBS and SLBS, what it's all about. And for me, I just appreciated just the friendships I made, the opportunity to see, new cities, new states. There's a lot of beautiful areas out there. We had the Field of Dreams out there in Cameron, like right there. I was like, man, I wish I'd have Kevin Costner at this, right? With the way the cornfield was kind of neat. We had tornadoes in Derby. That was fun, kind of. But then we had some beautiful weather. Tahlequah was the most ideal weather my entire season was Tahlequah. It was just beautiful. I learned the importance and how much of a tiebreaker can really kick you in the teeth. How that'll affect you, into your standings. But at the end of the day, you're not the only team that's affected by tiebreakers that don't go your way. It happens to everybody. So it was a great season.
You were pretty up there in chicken for a while.
Yeah.
And you cook legs, don't you?
I do.
You kind of were my mentor on legs because I recently made the switch. So
yeah,
I made the switch and I got first place chicken. So I guess I'm going to ride it out for a little bit. So
yeah,
they're just easier to trim. My God.
I like it. I can do thighs. I'm thinking about trying to learn wings. That seems to be the cool thing, or the flats, or what everyone's doing.
Yes.
And people are having great success with it. And that's what's so fun, I think, about cooking competition barbecue. You can find something, make it yours, and have success with it.
Yep. So what do you cook on during contests?
The gateway drums.
Is that what you cooked your first? No, you said you had char grill offset on your first.
Yeah.
Contest.
Yeah.
When did you make the switch from the char grillers to the gateways?
It was the start of 2022 season. I did it at what was I? Mississippi. I think it was Mississippi. Wind Creek. Yeah, Mississippi. So November of 22. I lucked out. It just fell in my lap. One person was selling a used drum for $600. I was like, I'm on it. Drove to Springfield, got it. I was in St. Louis barbecue store. I was like, guys, they're like, hey, you're not going to believe this, but this dude, he's wanting to sell his drum. I was like, all right, give me his number. Reached out and made it happen. So in a course of like 2 weeks, I was able to find 2 drums for $600 a piece.
Nice.
Yeah. They're as valuable as, a dozen eggs right now.
Yeah.
From a price standpoint for new, but I love them, and I've got one's called the Hulk and the other one is called Rusty. And they're what I like cooking on.
So which contest have you cooked that is the furthest away?
Yeah, I think Mississippi. It's between Gadsden or Mississippi would probably be. for this.
What town in Mississippi was it?
You know, I could tell you, except right now. I cooked it twice. Is that Wind Creek? No. Is it Wind Creek? Anyway, you know, I apologize. I don't remember the name of it.
No, we drove through Mississippi to get to Gulf Shore. I was thinking if it was something that I'd been along the line.
And I'm going to remember here any minute. I'll just blurt it out. But yeah, they're it's like 8 or 10 hour drive or something like that. But I'm doing a double in North Carolina in, I think it's beginning of May. The Jiggy, whatever, terrible names. That's why when my daughter said your name's, like, well, we're twins, right? Because that's so much easier. I can remember their twins versus their names. But yeah, that's probably the first one I got. I think that's like a 12-hour haul from where I'm at.
So what was that contest like? How'd that one go for you?
Well, in Mississippi, that was my first KCBS, and I GC'd it at 180 chicken. It was first time on the drums. But, you know, that was luck, like it was anything else, right? I just landed on a good table. This past year, I went back there, and I didn't GC it. Actually, I didn't get a call. And it was still a great contest. You know, got a great group of people there. And I'll go back again. It's just I enjoy the contest. I enjoy the way it's put on. And in Alabama, Hoosacue, nothing. I was like in the 20s or something like that. And then the one in Gadsden, the first time I did it, I think I tied second in chicken, and I don't remember what I got in ribs. But yeah.
That's still pretty cool though.
Yeah.
So what was your first grand championship like? What was that feeling?
Well, you know, the first one was the unsanctioned one I did in Bourbon. And it was just, for me, it was an accomplishment, I think. It was like, hey, you put the time, you put the effort, and here you go. But sometimes, you know, in that event, it kind of gave me a false positive, because going into the next event, you know, you get this big old ego, right? Your head's this big, and aha, I can do it. And then, I mean, you meet professionals that are cooking in a sanctioned body event, and it's like, oh no, let me bring you back down, which was good for me. From a KCBS event, GC in there in Mississippi, it was a pretty awesome feeling. It was validation. Hey, I put the time, the effort, I drove, I practiced, I invested in these drums, and here we go. Here we are.
Yep. So what was it like cooking the KCBS World Invitational? How'd you do on that one last year?
That was, for me, it was fun. If I'm being honest, I'd have to pull my score sheet up. I wasn't top 10. I don't know. I think I was 11th or 12th. I don't know. But what was fun about that event was just being around so many of the people that I met over the season, having them all being there. A lot of them, and I wasn't one of them, but a lot of them formed teams like you're describing, and they competed in the open portion of that. And it was so cool to see some of them get calls. Yep. Against, I mean, they're going against the top, you know, from a score standpoint, top cooks in the world. And from a backyard event, I thought it was great. So I'm looking forward to going to it again this year, wherever it's at. I'm going to go to it. And hopefully I can bring back in the girls. It just kind of fell within school, and days off just didn't work out for them. But it was a neat experience.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping to look forward to this year. So the next question: can we team up and do some TikToks at the American Royal?
Oh, sure. I'm happy to.
You and you're a TikTok. What's the word I'm looking for?
We TikTok. You know, we really had a lot of our efforts more on stories anymore versus TikTok.
Yes,
TikTok, but you know, just everything you hear with, you know, the uncertainty of what TikTok looks like.
Yeah.
You know, what's old is new, and YouTube Shorts. where it seems to be going back to.
And we might do some of those too, because YouTube Shorts seem to be the new thing.
Yeah.
Even YouTube themselves, which me and Brian know, they're pushing shorts a lot more than they are now. Even the long form videos.
Sure.
I think it's the attention spans of kids. They don't have adults too. I can watch a 20-second, 30-second TikTok way faster than I'll spend 45 minutes watching a long video.
Yeah.
But, so do you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah. So I've been very fortunate along the way. I'm part of the Weekend Bum team. So that's new.
Who's that guy?
What's that?
Who's that guy?
Hey, I'm bummed. But there's a lot of exciting things that Kevin has going on, and I won't share anything like that. We recently joined Flaps, which is pretty cool. I've got to spend time with those guys down in Mississippi and Alabama cooking. And then I put two and two together because, like, from a steak standpoint, we use their moo power, right? And so that's another team that we represent. There's a couple more that I'm not at liberty to announce yet that we have in the works, and then we have a pretty good relationship with Blues Hog. So always love using their product, and just a good group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use our charcoal?
Oh yeah.
I just bought a bag. I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out.
From Blues Hog?
From the Blues Hogs at Walmart now. So.
Oh, let me tell you, and so I ran Walmarts for 20 years. I was store manager, right? I ran them all over the U.S. Yeah. I would tell you the difference. It's just the packaging size. That's it. Packaging, and then being in line with the price point from the other competitors. And Walmart's really, the past few years, has really leaned into understanding the niche that is backyard cooks and home cooks. You get your Blues Hog, you got your Royal Oak, of course, but now they're having Jealous Devil is carried in a Walmart. And you think about just the brands and how they're improving. It's a good assortment.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite non-traditional meat to cook?
I learned how to cook alligator.
I've seen that.
So people are like, you're the guy that does the gator. I'm like, yeah, I can cook a gator. So I enjoy doing that. The girls enjoy it. It's so expensive to get right now. It's not that the alligator is expensive, but the shipping from two different sources. One I get from Florida, the other I get from Louisiana. And, they're $135 to ship it because it has to be second day air, and it doesn't. It's just what they tell you. But that's the same as what the gator costs. So in my world, that's slowed down cooking it. And I'm not talented enough to go wrestle one or go hunt one yet. But yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see you wrestle a gator.
Well, next one I get that's not alive, maybe I'll wrestle it.
That's funny. So I got an off the cuff question. What's your favorite barbecue restaurant to go to, or do you eat a lot of barbecue restaurants?
I really don't. If I can help it, I like a nice Italian restaurant or Mexican or something like that, or Chinese. But I'm really kind of a melting pot. Heavy smoke is good every time I ever go in there. Chris, he's a great man. He's at his restaurant. Monday nights are great nights because your kids eat free. I know he didn't pay me to say that, but it's true. If we go there, we're going on a Monday. Sugar Fire. I'm surrounded by sugar fires. Matt, know him from high school. He's a owner of the Winsville location. But that team is just a wonderful team, and it's not so much that, hey, they have the world's best ribs. They have great ribs, but just the creativity they have in their sandwiches and their sides. It's just awesome. And then, I'm in Springfield, Branson quite a bit, and I'm in getting basted. I really enjoy that. And I've shared with Brad, I've eaten at 3 of his locations and his Downing Street Poorhouse because I lived in Branson for several years. But his downtown location is just amazing. There in Branson. I don't know what it is, what's different about it, but that's my favorite out of all his.
The one on the strip?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, by hands down. I haven't tried the Nixon one, but
It's
getting back,
great. Yeah, the Springfield one's great. Nixon's great. It's the same thing with Sugar Fire. All the Sugar Fires I've ever eaten at. I'm right next to the one in Wing Haven. It's great. But those are probably my go-tos.
getting basted on the strip in Branson is our go-to. Anytime we're in Branson, we have to make an appearance at getting basted. That's like
Well, in
top
Big
list.
D's barbecue, there in Branson's good as well. He's a good. I've known that guy for quite a while. But yeah,
I've drove past that one a lot. I've never stopped into it.
it's worth stopping at.
People always talked about how good Dana's was, and I didn't care for it too much.
I've never eaten Dana's.
I forgot what it was, but it was so over smoked. It was like eating an ashtray.
Well, people have their days.
That's right. So, what does the future look like for you and your team and your sorority?
I think really this year we're taking more of a less is more approach. We're being more mindful, just just to be transparent. We all know this. It's expensive.
Price. Yeah.
It's expensive no matter what you're looking at. From meat to fuel to lodging to entry fees for contests, whatever. So we're looking at more doubles. We're looking at more where the girls will compete. So Tennessee, Bailey's coming just because she's never had a solo trip with Dad. So she'll come with me there, but she won't be competing in anything. She's just coming to be there to help out. But, Kansas City, Emma's going to compete, not from a kids queue, but cook steak. And then Altoona has a kids queue. So we're going to be more drawn to events that I can actually have the girls compete. Because I can cook whenever I want, competition or not, it doesn't matter. I can go fire up the grill right now. I just choose to whenever I want to. But they like it. They're involved with it, and we're like I said, we're very fortunate. Marty, he's a great friend, and he has some time invested with Emma, and it's awesome to watch her grow in the sport of barbecue.
Nice.
I wish the Invitational would have a kids queue on it this year.
Well, I think maybe in time it may, and I think our responsibility as cooks is just to share that, but also show, hey, here's who would compete, here's 8 kids or 10 kids, or whatever that looks like, and make it an event.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about taking my son to just cook the American Royal just for the kids queue, kind of like you were going to do last year.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's just a process. It's a form. Pay it. If you're not invited, you just need a team to sponsor you, or you can just, put your name in there and they will select a team to sponsor you. But, it was unfortunate, with what, transpired with Emma while we were there, but the amount of time we got to spend there, just speaking to people and engaging with them and just the whole environment, it was worth it just for that aspect.
The Royal is a whole different animal anytime you've been there. That was the first contest I ever judged, and it's truly still one of my favorites. I really want to cook it days.
Well, this could be your year, man.
We'll see. The whole being there, I'm thinking maybe next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
I would like to do a Masters contest one of these years, but the price difference between Backyard and Masters is quite the leap, which is why we probably haven't done one yet.
Yeah.
That expensive brisket gets a little out of hand.
Yeah.
So, Brian, do you have anything for him?
Yeah. Are you playing Weeze's interview for the kids right now?
Yes.
Am I what?
Playing Weeze's interview for the kids.
So it's not for me. It's for my nephew, Henry. And when I listened to it, I was watching Henry because I watched it immediately following that, and I had Henry with me. And, Weeze was just talking, and Henry was just like, and then he was just out. I was like, oh, my gosh, that was the most boring thing Henry's seen in his life. He's only 7 and put him right to sleep. So shout out, Weeze.
I thought that one was funny when you guys were going back and forth. I'm like, I don't care what you use it for as long as you watch it.
That was good.
Yeah, he's been texting me. He says he's taken several notes. You know, he's learned quite a bit already from this, so I'm glad we could help him.
Glad we could teach him a thing or two. He needs it.
Yeah. No, it was great having you on. It was great having Weeze on too.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
He's a good guy.
So, if we don't see you before, we'll see you at the Royal in March.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys
Have a
so
good
much.
one.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.